Okay, so they're
We're
recording.
live now.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Why are you on the phone, sir?
You are not ready.
Why? I'm gonna need you to wrap up that phone call.
Put them on the mic. We got to hear what they're saying. See, that's what we need, speaker amplification. All right, we good? We good? You ready? All right, y'all. We about to get this conversation kicked off. First off, give another round of applause to that amazing fucking video that we're about to talk about real quick. My name is Patrick Armstrong. I host a podcast called Conversation Piece. We talk about a lot of stuff, mostly related to Indianapolis. Kyndl and Fee have both been on. Fox has been on. He's been running around here, but yeah, just a cool avenue and platform to find out about the city and what cool shit is happening here. But we're not here to talk about that today. Here today, we are on a special edition of the Keys and C's podcast, the Conversation Piece Takeover Edition, because we're here to celebrate Kyndl, to celebrate Affirmations, and to celebrate all the amazing things that she's doing, particularly around this video. But first off, we're going to start by asking you, Kyndl, how you feeling?
I feel good. I shared with a few of you already as we were, waiting around, mixing and mingling. I'm always nervous. Always. I think sometimes when you're an artist and you care about what it is you do, but you also dance between, wanting your art to be out there, but also just wanting to hide sometimes. I don't do very well with being the center of attention. It's very uncomfortable for me. But I feel loved. I feel supported. Most of you in the room are family. I'm also grateful, though, that it's a few of you here who I don't personally know. So, yeah, I feel jittery, but I also feel great. I feel proud of myself. And I just feel loved and supported.
Love it. Well, based on the reactions and the encore, I would say you got a lot of love and support in this room. A lot of family, a lot of community. I want to take it to the beginning. So this is part of Jake Moran's visual oral project. Came out about a little over a year ago now. Just celebrated that year anniversary.
Yep.
You talked about earlier how when you were making the song, you were making it for you.
Yeah.
When he approached you with the idea of being a part of this project, did you already have the idea for this song ready to go? You just needed the impetus, or how did this come about?
Yeah, so this song is actually a song that I've been sitting on since the pandemic. If you know, a lot of us artists, we have songs that we create and then we sit on and we don't know if we like it, and you know what I'm saying? So it's by the time y'all hear it, you feel me, it's already old to us. But yeah, so when I wrote this song, I wrote it obviously, during the pandemic. We all just sitting with ourselves naturally. And I'm I really need this song, so I wrote it for myself, but then I sat with it, and at that time, just through growth, right, since then, obviously, I can say that who I am today is not who I was then. And I just know at the time that I wrote that song, I'm I don't even believe what I'm saying. And I also, too, felt like it was kind of corny. I don't know, we have an idea and a concept in our mind sometimes as artists, but then when we execute it, do we like how we executed it, though? So I was I don't know, a song about me affirming myself and I don't believe this sounds corny. So I don't know. So I just sat on it, and then I was I don't know if I'm going to put it out or if I didn't hate it, so I kind of just let it sit. But then, time went on, and I still found myself revisiting it. Okay, do I want to rework this, or what do I want to do about it? So I didn't really know. But then Jake came to me. He's hey, I have this project. I want you to be a part of it. And, just how he presented it to me, with it being, just him wanting to just document us artists, just in our element, just who we are. He's just show up and be yourself. And, when I heard that, I felt I was led to just give that song, be myself. You know what I'm saying? Just an additional layer with that, right? Shout out to other artists who are a part of the mixtape, right? But these are, lyricists, bar heavy people where, I respect their pen and what they do. And I feel sometimes I also felt pressured to, show up or present myself in a particular way. But I was literally, I just need to be myself. So I literally felt that song was the one to be a part of it. And just listening to the project itself, I'm I'm glad that I chose that song, because like Jake said, it did kind of balance out, just the energy of the song. So it kind of just came down to me just trusting myself as well.
Yeah, he said it was the perfect bookend to that part one, and I couldn't agree. It's a great bridge. I've been listening to that this week in preparation for this event and this conversation, and it really does. It's it really feels like a peak moment, and then it's I'm gonna steward y'all into this back half of what we got going on.
Yeah.
So I really love that. Did you have then this incredible beat already when you were writing the song, or did the idea for the song come and then you were like, hey P, I got this idea that we need to execute on?
Yeah, so the original version of the song that I was sitting on was the song how you hear it minus the second verse and the sax. I literally just had the first verse and the hooks. So it also too was kind of uncompleted, but knowing that it was going to be a part of this project with Jake, and I knew I wanted to release it because it now was years later, I'm I definitely want to add some more spunk to it, to bring it more to life so it sounds like where I am now. So that's how the second verse, came about. And then I just was a sax would go crazy on this. So shout out to Mitch Lohman over at 416 Wabash. He recorded me and engineered the song. And when I mentioned it to him, I was like, but I don't know a sax player. He was like, but I do. And I was like, he was like, let me make some calls. And it was just one of those situations where he kind of just surprised me one day after the session as I was finalizing everything. And he just sent it through my email. And I was like, this is crazy. And yeah, so shout out to Rob Dixon as well, because I've never personally met him. I'm aware of who he is, right? Definitely a legend within the music space here. But he's close friends with Mitch, from my understanding. And Mitch just hit him up one day hey, I got this song I need you to add some pizzazz to. And how it was relayed to me, Rob told him, it better not be no BS. What is this? I don't know this girl. Let me hear the song. And then he just heard the message of it. And he was like, absolutely. So, just off the strength of me not knowing him, but he, respected, how it was coming, it meant a lot to me.
For sure. I mean, the sax been a big moment. We felt the energy of the sax in here when it hit the people twice. Yeah. We had to run it back twice.
Yeah.
P, let me turn to you real quick. When Kyndl came to you, what was that first conversation like when she brought Affirmations to you? Was that how did that conversation go? And how did you know what you wanted to provide her when it came to the production on that beat?
Absolutely. I am very fortunate to be.
I thought you said P.
I did say P. I did say P. My bad.
My bad.
No, you good. P, we gonna get to you. We gonna get to you. We gonna get to this movie. We gonna get to this movie behind us. We gonna get to the P.
It's good. It's good.
Not my lane. Not my lane.
Shoot, Fee legendary too. So she's legendary in her own right, for
100%.
sure. But yeah, when Kyndl came to me, she told me about Jake's project. I usually already have beats kind of ready, but I usually have stuff that's set aside for different moments, because I know when it comes to Kyndl, she has a particular pocket she stays in. So I like the real smooth type, I'll say Erykah Badu-ish, things of that nature. And it's funny because the video, you start taking off the clothes and stuff. I was like, that's like Erykah Badu on one of her joints. So I was like, okay, we got a little vibe going on there. But I always work with Mitch. So me and Mitch work really well when it comes to Kyndl. So when that part, when it came to the sax part, I was like, well, yeah, if we can get Rob Dixon, that was going to be good. So I knew that it was going to be smooth. But when it comes to the beats itself, I kind of go off of the vibe. The affirmations, I usually go off of the beat itself. A lot of people, when they come to me, I already have names on the beats, because I'm kind of positioning myself like if I was the artist itself when I make beats. So when she came to this conclusion of she liked this moment, because she already had everything written, I was just ready to go at that point. So I appreciate her being coming to me for that position, for the opportunity to be on Jake's project. So I'm glad we was able to set the tone on there.
100%. Was there something specific that stood out to you about like what she was bringing with this particular song that you're like, oh, this is the thing that I wanna share with you?
Well, she's been wanting to incorporate a lot of her melody and harmonies in a lot of her songs. Because I know from the beginning, if y'all remember when she first started, she only had maybe like one, maybe two on a lot of her projects with her harmonizing and using her voice. So I wanted to implement both sides with that. So she was able to go ahead and piece together her second verse. So it made it so much well worth. So everybody knows she got the bars, but you know, she came in straight in with the melodies and the harmony. So it just pieced it together really well for sure.
I love it. And then we're about to get into this visual feed, but P, I want to ask you real quickly. Do you like visualize when you're in the studio creating? Do you pull like visually for inspiration, or how are you like? What's your process creatively when you're getting into it like that?
I look at myself as like an artist as well. So when I go into making a beat, I position myself like, if I'm the artist, how would I come on this beat, or how can I position myself to stand out when it comes to this song? So I always put like a label on my stuff. I'm not like the producer that put like beat number 31. Nah, I have a particular style. So I mean, everybody go through life. So I kind of position where I've been in life, and I kind of put it on the beat. So when the artists come to me, they give me the visual, and it kind of combines together when it comes to that. So the visual kind of coincides with both artists. So I kind of piece it together like a picture. So we're the painters, and they giving us the idea of what to paint. So if I'm able to do that, then that's how I put it together.
I love that alignment of like where like you creating from where you're at your point in life, and she's coming to with this song like it's about a very specific point of like, oh, I'm stepping into me. Like that alignment is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and it turns into this movie that we just saw, Fee, which you were a driving force behind as a creative director. What were those first conversations like between y'all when you were thinking about what are we going to execute from like an actual visual perspective?
Absolutely. I'm very fortunate to be able to be in spaces with so many different artists, and, you know, being able to do projects with Kyndl before, and then actually working with Jake the Shot like really early, like just random photography shoots. And then P from just mutual friends. My boyfriend's also an artist, so we all kind of have this amazing circle of people around. And you never know when you're needed for certain things. So, like, I just appreciate being thought of. And that's really what it was. It was kind of like one of these things where they were just missing, like, an element of something. And I always appreciate Jake because he's always been so much into cinematography and like visually seeing things, but he's like always appreciating me for storytelling. And I think that's like the one thing they was trying to get together. So I was in it where they kind of already had like a direction of something that they wanted to lean into, and that's my bag always, is being like, all right, I just need like a couple of things to put something together in a whole. And, you know, and that for me, it's about the intentionality, like what is the messaging, like what are we trying to say? And especially like coming from a song that references, I think like the journey that we've been on together as like just wardrobe styling in general, which is literally the hardest thing I've ever done, believe it or not. And I will repeat that till the day is long, but it really is one of the hardest things to work on, being able to cultivate someone's style. And I think that goes with almost anything. It's another way to message, you know, what you see. And for this particular song, that's what I wanted to make sure that we was working on. And a lot of it was about reflecting. Like, that's one of the biggest things Kyndl was wanting to focus on. And we have things that's really accessible, like mirrors. That's probably the biggest, easiest way to understand a reflection. But I was thinking about how we could emphasize maybe like water as an element. And Jake was, you know, thinking like, well, how could we formulate the water? Do we get a bucket and put water in it, make a pond? But then Jake was talking about, where was the location at? It was somewhere up north, like Broad Ripple area.
It was like Broad Ripple-ish. I forgot
the actual
name of the
park. Holiday Park. My
Yes,
bad.
yes.
Yeah, Holiday Park.
Holiday Park.
Yeah. So that's where we was at, and what a beautiful place to be in, to be able to create that scene, and the body of water Jake was like making sure we could get to was just enough, shallow enough. Like we literally like walked a lot to get to where we was even going to. And we had
a hike.
Yeah, it was a hike. The perfect amount of rain. Like that was random. It wasn't raining all day. Like right when we got to the spot, that's probably like one of my favorite shots of just the water just slowly tapping the water. It's like one of my favorite things for sure. But yeah, and then it was kind of like done in oddly like 2 parts where it had to be done that day. Yeah, because there was just not enough time, and which I like better too, to really like reference the wardrobe a lot, because we already talked about how we wanted it to come from just like where we were at one point and then transforming to another point for Kyndl. So showing that full transformation of who she was as an artist. And we've been working on that with wardrobing period, just to make sure like, you know, it's hard to, as an artist, to be public about who you represent and where you were and what you're doing. And to me, it's intimate. Yeah. It's like if I'm going to share that space with somebody, like I'm speaking upon something personal, so I want to honor that as much as possible. And I think that's what, you know, we ended up doing prior. We already started working on it. So it made it easier for this visual, so I didn't have to be like, so do you like the color white or do you not? Like there's these really simple, silly things that you have to go through with people personally. But like for me, it's like a root of a feeling that we're going through. Like how are we expressing that in a language? And it was really much more easier for this visual for sure. So that was like the gist of it, was like coming from a transitional space of being from one era to the newest era that we're at now. And I think this is a great way to start off and send off Kyndl in a new direction for her work. So I'm just thankful for that. Yeah.
No, I love it. Yeah, I love that. That was the thing that I was picking up on, just like watching this like transition from entering into the water and then like stripping away like who you were before and exiting out into the cornfield, which I thought was very Indiana, but I felt like something we've been talking about in conversation pieces, like what's the Naptown sound, like what's the Indianapolis sound in music, and it's been really hard to define. Everybody's got a different definition for it, and like for some reason, seeing you spit that verse in the cornfield, I'm like, this is so Indiana to me.
That was intentional.
Like, this is what this is to me. I was wondering, thinking about y'all's like creative partnership that you've had together for a long time now, and then being able to work on this and being now a year removed from having put all this together. Fee, what is your like perspective on Kyndl's growth from that point even then to now as we launch into this new era of Kyndl?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, like it's interesting doing it in a wardrobe sense, right? Because a lot of times people think that's like a real easy thing. And I've met so many different people. I've done wardrobing for many different reasons. But I think when you're trying to do it for like a creative, you know, perspective where a lot of people are judging you on that, branding you on that, this is who you are because of that, you know, there's a lot of depth to say to that. And when you're wanting to get that access from somebody, they have to be very vulnerable out the gate. Like, and most people aren't. I will say that people think they are because they want to look nice, but that's dressing is more about looking nice. I do believe like embellishing who you are is straight adornment. It's very traditional in that sense to me, and I think a lot of people devalue that for themselves personally. And then that's a hard conversation to ask. So I'm not asking you have to have it with me, but I'm saying if we're going to work together, you're going to have to do it. And Kyndl has been one of them people who I've actually been able to do that with. And just thankful for sharing like the intimacy that comes with a certain space like that. And, you know, when we first initially worked, it was for Treese. And that was like the whole understanding, like, yeah, I'm trying to be this new person. And I'm like slowly navigating this space, and I'm like, okay, we can do this together. So as long as you're willing to work with me and do that, then that's where that comes from. And then just being able to see, you know, when we did the music video, knowing that this kind of experience wasn't elaborated at that time even, this even came later to do this presentation and everything like that, was just, I feel like, all alignment to the calling to be seen in the way that you've been wanting to be seen now. And I'm just thankful that, you know, every little bit of time that's been taken care of or intentionally throughout, we've been working piece by piece on different things like the podcast. And we even did a shoot for that. And just knowing that, you know, it's just not one facet of who you are when you're like navigating an artist world. There's so many different layers that comes with this, and you really have been like locking into every piece of it. And there's so many different things and just random conversations about, you know, being disciplined and find the, like, should I be doing this? Should I take this shot? You know what I mean? Just certain things that come from even something as simple as like, well, how do I qualify my wardrobe? Where do I shop? What kind of pieces do I buy? It's like all these different things, and I did not style Kyndl today. I just want to let you guys know that, you know, Kyndl, that's my whole purpose, though. Like, when I work with people, I don't ever emphasize on you having to lock into me. You should naturally be able to feel comfortable enough over time to understand that you can do this on your own. And that's what it is about creating. It's like, I want to be, you know, inspired by the navigation part. Yeah. You know what I mean? As far as making people look good, I could do that any time of the day, but it's more resourceful and much more honoring when you could be like, I love what Kyndl got on today. These bangles are fire. Like, these, you would never seen Kyndl with this much jewelry on at one time. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that.
Thank you.
And, you know, and that's what she was asking me about layering and like how much can you add to pieces, and there's no rules to this. And I feel like that's what's so interesting to me about clothes. When people were asking me for permission, it's like, why? Like, you know, but they respect my opinion. But to me, it is so that Kyndl can have the free space to do it. And that's what's most important to me, is to see something like that.
If I can add really quickly.
Do it.
Before linking with V, right, I was in the space where I'm like, I know I want to get better with my style, but I've always just looked at clothes as like functional, you know, like I never looked at it as style. But I'm like, because I'm an artist and people look to me, right, like I feel like I should be more intentional about how I'm presenting myself. And I just always saw a Fee, and I always saw a Kid. And I'm like, these motherfuckers is fly as hell, bro. So I'm like, hey, man, Treese is coming up. Can one of y'all get with me? And just from me just working with Fee for styling, she became my sister. And, you know, kind of like what she said, the intimacy in having someone style you. She's like, okay, so we need a mood board. What do you like? What do you not like? It became very like, oh, like I didn't even know that these type of conversations were necessary. But it was her just learning who I am to be able to then know how to translate that through what it is I'm wearing. So I would say she taught me how to just look at clothes as a extension of my expression. And I don't think that's something that I ever consciously thought about until I worked with her.
I love it. Yeah. Phoebe dropping gems. Go check out our conversation. It's so good. P, I want to turn it back to you before we kind of start to wrap it up, and then we open it up to questions from y'all. Kind of on that same line of like the perspective, but from the producer perspective of like this growth that has happened from a year ago when the song was getting created and then made, and then the album came out, and then now the visuals here. From your perspective, one, just like seeing the visual to your beat now and seeing that fully realized, but two, your perspective on Kyndl's growth as an artist over this last year, and what does that say to you about like the city's like movement musically in the community over the last year?
Okay. Well, going to Kyndl's like growth from then till now, I could say she's been purposeful, she's been planning, executing, and on her purpose. So, and it shows within the music itself, even Affirmations itself. So having that reflection of self, knowing thyself, understanding self, and being comfortable with self. So in order for you to be an artist, people don't know you until you know yourself. So, and then you got to position yourself to let people know who you are. So I can say she's grown in that area over the years, even from this year, from today. Now, as far as the Indianapolis scene, I see a lot of greats in the room, legendary within their own right.
Out the gate.
And the city has been growing so much within a year span, from events to projects to singles to even position yourself for your content. For all the artists, just keep doing it. Like, as far as content, keep creating, keep pushing, and travel outside of 465. Y'all have what it takes to be outside of 465. For real. All right.
Where Nori at? For real.
I love that. That's actually a great segue, and maybe that's going to be your answer. But I wanted to start with you and work our way back down and ask y'all to give one affirmation that you want folks to leave with tonight. That might be yours, Pete. That might be yours. But another affirmation that you want people to leave tonight, because, I mean, that's the theme of what we're here for.
I say your purpose. Focus on each one of you guys' purpose. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody has something that y'all want to give to the world. Some people want to show to the world. But your purpose is key to who you are.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's like we could do this all day. How many? But there's so many things. But I guess what I could say recently, like what I've personally been working on, is that you should know how you feel at all times, and really know what that means to you. Don't worry about your feelings later or feel like it's something silly to think about, even if the temperament is you mad because someone stepped on your shoe. Let's really talk about it, you know what I mean? And I think we undermine what our feelings really do to navigate our day-to-day, and I've been very consciously focused on that for the past, 9-10 months. So I think, if I can anchor in on how I feel, maybe I could counter it no matter what, good, bad, whatever, indifferent. But, yeah, I say navigate your feelings.
I mean, you already gave us a bucket of affirmations.
Man, no.
Of course.
I got a great affirmation in my bag, actually.
Of course. Definitely make sure y'all leave with an affirmation that I wrote for y'all. But me just being transparent and, what I've been affirming myself in recently is, and what I could also, share with you all is, know that you are worthy of being shown up for and being supported. And trust that those who will show up for you will show up for you when the time is needed for them to show up for you. And I say that because I think sometimes, I was going to say us artists, but me just speaking for myself, right? Like, I've been putting music out since 2018. And when I first started, I was like hitting the ground running, like very consistent. And then, just as I grew older, and life just started to life, and I felt like I was in a space where I was forced to just sit with myself and just learn more about myself. I felt very there was this tension in okay, I'm not afraid of sitting with myself, but if I step away, are these people that have been showing up for me and supporting me, are they gonna still care when I put myself back out there? Do y'all still care? Are y'all still here? I changed my artist name. I'm back putting out music, but the heavy support that I had first starting off, do y'all still care? You know what I'm saying? But I know that the people who are truly for me are going to be for me, and they're going to show up regardless. Just with this event itself, so many people reached out to me and was like, what do you need help with? And if you know me, you know that I don't like asking for help. I don't mind asking for help. I really don't. I just would rather not ask for help if I know that there's going to be space for, it to be an opportunity where you tell me you're going to do something and then you're not going to do it. Or then you tell me unprovoked you're going to help me and then you don't help me. I don't mind asking for help and receiving help. It's just, one, I know that I can do things myself. I know that I have a particular vision, so you can ask somebody for help and then they'll help you, and then they'll execute it in a way that you wouldn't have executed it. So now you're trying to like let go of the control, and like Fee was like, please just allow people to show up for you. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So I put it out there. I'm like, hey y'all, I'm having this event. I don't know who gonna come. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's gonna support me and, help me. But literally, like, if I start naming names of people who have helped me, I'm gonna forget somebody, and I don't want to do that. But I really just am grateful and appreciative of those of you all, showing up for me, and, just people who I wasn't even expecting to show up for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to shout out someone, in particular, but someone called me before the event started and was like, hey, I'm here, what you need? I didn't even know they was going to be here and be here this early, willing to, help. So it's just little things like that, help me to remind myself, like, people will show up for me, and people will show up for me when I need them to show up for me, regardless of how long it's been. Or sometimes I just get in my own head, but, when I see the, the result of, what I was planning, what I was seeing, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I'm nervous because I don't like being the center of attention, but I really am, like, appreciative, because y'all quite literally could be anywhere right now, but I chose to be here, so that truly means a lot to me.
That, I think give it up for Kyndl. Give it up for Kyndl. I think it speaks to the person that you are and the work that you put in and what you do for the community. We first met because you came to my 100th live episode taping. I didn't know who you were, but then you came up to me afterwards and we had a really great conversation, which led to you coming on the podcast, which has led to many conversations to now. But I think that moment was really indicative to me of, like, Brother Jamal over there, like, you're somebody who goes out into the community and does things. You're not just somebody who sits at home and complains about the things that are going on and they're not being there. Yeah. You, like, get outside and you go and you do things. And when you show up for community that way, generally community tends to show up for you as well. And you got a room full of legends here, I think, that is indicative of that. So shout out to you for being you and for doing that thing. I got 2 more questions before we open it up to the floor for y'all. If y'all got questions, get them ready. The first one is, you've done a big rollout for this video. We're a year off from the project coming out, the single dropping, and we're here and we're really turning it up to 11.
For sure.
What is next? What is this the precursor for? What's going on? What's coming down the pipe? What can you share with us what you got coming up?
Right. So, of course, plenty of new music is on the way. I'm currently in album mode. But before I give y'all the album, it's going to be some months out. Won't be until next year, obviously. But before then, I've just been creating music in general. And so I have some singles and I have an EP on the way as well. Shout out to Mr. Legendary P. If you know, you know. He has been someone who has been here from the start. When I first started making music and put music out, I was using YouTube beats. And I don't know how he found me, but he reached out to me. And he was like, hey, I'm trying to lock in. And, and me just being, a new artist, not really knowing much about anything, not really knowing anybody, but, also, too, just naturally, right? Like, I'm a woman, he's a man. I'm like, okay, you want to link up? Like, is you serious? You feel me? Because, sometimes men will reach out and be like, oh, I'm trying to work, and it'll be something else. And you know what I'm saying? So, I'm an artist just, you feel me? Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm going to bring my manager. My manager was my uncle at the time. We both just trying to figure it out in real time. And then he wasn't able to come. And so, just how I met P, I literally was just trusting that, this was someone who I could, trust, meeting. And when I say, like, we immediately clicked, and this is my brother, his wife is my sis. Shout out to Notion. We literally have just been locked in ever since. He learned my sound, and, like, if you know me, you know that I am not the biggest Drake fan. I always have been that way, have always said that, but, like, we damn near like Drake and 40 a little bit. Like, I have always said that, like, he just knows me. He knows exactly what I want. And, yeah, so long story short, you feel me, like, majority of what it is I create, like, he is like my immediate, like, first point of contact. Like, all right, it's been a minute since I've dropped Affirmations. I'm trying to drop some new music. What you got for me? And, he sent me some beats, and just how I create in real time, right? Like, I'll create a song, and then I'll be like, okay, this sounds more single-ish, right? Or, like, as I'm creating multiple songs, I'm like, okay, these songs fit together. Like, they work together. So I'm like, okay, this could, fit for, like, an EP, but, like, this is more of, like, a standalone single. This song, I really care about this song. It sounds really big. We gonna save this for the album, So just as I'm creating in real time, I'm kind of just seeing how songs come about, and kind of like they communicate back to me, like, okay, this is the vision that we have for this. You know what I'm saying? So I don't go into my creative process like, okay, I'm gonna create an album. Like, I honestly didn't think that I was gonna be back in album mode, this soon. I literally just wanted to kind of work, like the singles game, and, get better with my content. And, like I really kind of wanted to just play it that way. But I literally got a little bit of everything on the way. The first single is dropping in a few weeks, October 21st. It is titled Familiar. So, yeah, when I say I literally got stuff in the queue ready for y'all, I'm coming. So, yeah, that is what's on the way. And then as far as shows, a few of you asked me if I was going to perform today. No. This was not that type of party. I've always wanted to do a music video release party, so this is a different vibe for me. So, yeah, I'm grateful to have this event to be what it is. But if you do want to see me in action, see me perform, if you want to see me perform the next song I'm dropping before it's out, I have a show October 3rd. It'll be at the Health Club out in Broad Ripple. If you're familiar with Lyrics and Libations, they're the ones hosting the show, and that's where they have the shows. So that's October 3rd, and yeah.
Okay. My last question is, how do we support you? But it sounds like those are all the ways that we can do that.
How you can support me?
How do we support you? Just let us know what the best way to do that.
For sure. First and foremost, we just premiered a music video.
Yeah.
And I want y'all to grab your phone.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube, like right now, real time. Don't look at me, look at your phone. If you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do that. If you just type in my name, I should pop up. Kyndl is how I spell my name. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. This was a first look exclusive for you all who came out today. The actual music video will be live tomorrow at 4. So make sure y'all subscribe and, turn on the notifications to get the, music video. So, yeah, first and foremost, make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following me on socials at Kyndl. Like I said before, as many of y'all know, I changed my artist name. So, you feel me? We rekindling, you feel me? REKYNDL on socials. People who just come across me on socials, they think my artist name is Kyndl, but it's literally just my social handle. My name is just Kyndl. KYNDL on streaming, wherever you listen to your music. And then also, too, lastly, I have a Bandcamp. Us artists, like, if you want to, like, truly support us and put money in our pockets so that we can continue to do what it is we do, you feel me? Purchase something off of my website. Purchase this merch. What I have on hand is what I have right now, but there's going to be more to come. It'll also be on the Bandcamp. That's where I have all of my music and my merch for sale. If you purchase it, you will literally have a download on your computer, like, for you to have. That's kindlemusic.bandcamp.com. And yeah, so that's how y'all can support me. And then also, too, on Instagram, make sure y'all join my broadcast channel. I know that that's, like, a new thing. So, like, whenever I have something new, whatever I'm trying to, like, update y'all on, I'm going to let y'all know first. So make sure y'all join the broadcast channel as well.
There you go. Give it up for Kyndl one more time.
Yeah.
Give it up for Fee and P, too, one more time. Legendary Fee.
Legendary Fee.
All right, y'all. What questions do we got? What questions do you got?